Hello, this is Crispin Flintoff. Please subscribe and get alerts for this channel because we are putting content out that is not seen elsewhere and people need to know about it. Thank you. Matt Robinson from Migration Films. Are you there, Matt? Can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning, Crispin. How are you doing?
I'm good. The media is so biased, but we just need to keep correcting all these lies. And the one film that you did about the Regent's Park arrests really struck me, and I'd like to just show a little clip so people can see it.
Get your camera down!
On Monday the 5th of August, a group of people went to a cafe in Regent's Park for some refreshments. What happened next made national news.
Palestinian protesters have been accused of anti-Semitism. This was a demonstration at a performance last night in London of Fiddler on the roof.
We were going into the cafe just to get some drinks and stuff, like to chill out.
We came with my friends into this cafe. We just wanted ice cream and coffee. We joined the queue. As soon as we joined the queue, we saw a group of people, elderly people, very angry, asking us to leave, to get out. They were very, very, very rude, very threatening.
All right, just ignore them. Leave it, leave it.
Oh my God. You're not wanting to go away. Why are you not here? Why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you here? What makes you think you've got the right to tell other people where they're allowed to be?
And there's a couple of women kind of holding him back, and he was kind of getting out of their grips and sort of, pulling his arms out. And I was quite alarmed and worried. He just continued to shout, and the women were shouting at us who were with him. And they were shouting at us to go, to leave.
Get your camera down!
One of the women asked me why I was filming, put your phone down, and then she called me dirtbag, animals. We were called pigs. One of the men went to my friend, she's Somalian. He went up to her and said, "Look at your face."
We had a black girl with us, and the man went up to her and said, "Look at your face, you're disgusting." So they were racists.
So to get a full picture, I went to the cafe myself to speak with members of staff who were on duty that day.
This is where the people with the Palestinian flags came from. So when a customer come in, they just queue up here. Other people were sitting down there, sitting area. They were having their food. So when they saw the flags, they just came here acrobatically and started, arguing.
I mean, there's more to watch, but you can watch it on Migration Films on Instagram. Is your biggest platform, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the story about that, people attacking people watching Fiddler on the roof, it seemed ridiculous when I saw it. I mean, and I thought that can't be right. But then it needed someone to go and find the truth about it. And you did that. And you've got some kind of apologies or corrections to it. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, well, basically, it was brought to my attention through one of the people who was present, who was filming. Now, the girl who had the scarf on and glasses, I have so many comments on it going, why is she hiding her identity? And it's because she doesn't want to be doxxed, because this is what a lot of the Zionist groups do. So basically, she messaged me and said, this has gone down. The Independent have written an article, a journalist called Emma Guinness, and it's and it's such a one-sided article. They didn't speak to any of the members, and they said it was outside the theatre. So factually, it was incorrect. The whole due process of journalism, and it was out of the window. So I went down. And I thought the best thing to do is talk to the management, talk to the staff members. So that's what I did. And actually, to be fair, a week before I did this film, I put a message out, a story, and tagged this journalist in it and said, listen, in a week's time, there's going to be a film coming out. So this is to give you and the Independent the opportunity to do a proper story on this. I'm just giving you a heads up, it will be really embarrassing for you. But she didn't. I got blocked on all platforms. So story went ahead. I raised a complaint with the Independent about her writing, and they came back to me with a very detailed response saying that it's, it affected her negatively, me calling her out. And I'm like, well, she's in a position of responsibility. When you have a platform like the Independent, a national newspaper, you have to tell the truth. But the outcome of this was the Independent changed the story, but they did it so slyly. It's terrible. They, instead of going, it appears that it wasn't a protest, they said, oh, they mentioned me. They brought Migration Films into it and called me a activist and TikToker who said that. So basically the whole language used around it was still, even though they put me in it instead of the actual supposed participants. So it was very unsatisfactory indeed, but they did change the story.
I mean, you've been doing these films for quite a while. You were an editor, weren't you? Can you tell us a bit about your background?
Yeah, well, I was an editor in mainstream film and TV since 1998. And I turned my back on it in 2016. I quit film and TV. I became a filmmaker in the third sector, the charity sector. So I've been all around the world: Yemen, Iraq, Bangladesh, Somalia, Palestine, Lebanon, filming all sorts of things. And then when COVID hit, I had to go back into mainstream because we couldn't travel anywhere. So I was doing remote editing, and everything was fine until October, after October the 7th. And the TV and film industry has been dead, undoubtedly. There's like 68 to 70% of people out of work in the UK. But I was put forward for jobs where I was told, brilliant, Matt, I want to work with you or confirm you within 24 hours. And then they asked me a question, do you know such and such from this production company? And I'm like, yeah, because I worked on something for them. It turns out these individuals are actually part of an organization that recruits for the IDF. So I knew as soon as this exec producer said he was going to speak to them, I wasn't going to get the job. 4 days later, I get a message from my agency saying, oh yeah, they've gone with someone else, but it's nothing personal. So rewinding a little bit, when I was doing the humanitarian stuff, I studied humanitarian response to conflict and disaster at Harvard University online, remotely, during lockdown. And one of the key elements is impartiality and independence. So as a humanitarian, you're not supposed to take sides. So even though I would go to protests, I would share the odd thing every now and then. It wasn't until 2021 when I saw the IDF beating worshippers in Al-Aqsa Mosque, where I'm as a Muslim convert myself, I've prayed there. And that was the turning point for me. And you'd never see anything in the mainstream news. So that's why I started to go out every protest, film. And now there's so many actions, I can't get to all of them, but it's something that, you sometimes see on a digital site on Sky News, oh, large Palestinian protest in London, X amount of arrests, and that's it. But you never hear the speeches, you never get interviews with people. It's all very much encircled, as in like removed from mainstream. So that's why I've been doing this basically.
And you're doing well with, I mean, the Regent's Park one. I mean, how many people viewed that video?
Regent's Park. Regent's Park is it's had almost 1 million views on TikTok. But what I've done off the back of it, so obviously I complained to the Independent, I got a response. I've been on GB News to talk about the armistice, why we should march on the armistice back last year. So I know a producer. So I got in touch and I said, listen, you guys have put this on TV with the head of the National Jewish Assembly saying the Palestine flag is a terror flag. What do you have to say about this? One of the park people would like to come on and talk with me. Like, yeah, no problem. We'll arrange something. Ghosted ever since, silence. So now the action that I've taken, and it's very interesting, I saw an interview with Motaz Aziza yesterday saying that we need to take action, and the action that we need to take within the confines of British law, I have to say that, is writing to Ofcom, complaining to Ofcom about these programs, writing to the Press Complaints Authority about articles, complaining directly to, and to whoever has put this untruth out. And that's key, that if we do this, It's very easy to conceptualize and think, yeah, I'll do it, and never get around to it, because there's so much out there that needs to be challenged. If we do take step by step and challenge stuff, then a change can be made. And again, that brings me on to back to social media. Look at what happened with sharing what we do, sharing information. An ICJ was brought against Israel by South Africa because of social media, because of the information that was shared that wasn't filtered or censored by mainstream.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get the even it's just the information. If it's not viewed that many times, it doesn't matter as long as the information's out there. Oh, look, thank you so much. Hopefully we can see more of your videos and speak to you again soon on that.
Thanks, Crispin.
Cheers, Matt.